Hello, welcome to this video on Dhammapada, chapter 8, verse 10, or verse 109 in the consecutive straight-through numbering. Abhivadana silassa nichang buddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vardhanti ayuvanno sukham balam. Again, now I'll give it to you with the text up. Here we are. Abhivadana silassa nichang buddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vardhanti ayuvanno sukham balam. The first line consists of genitives. Abhivadana silissa, genitive, I'll explain the form in a moment. Nicham, permanently. Buddha pachayino, one who is, constantly, permanently, praising or speaking respectively to elders. So both genitives of that person, of the person who is respectful in his behavior and so on. Chattaro dhamma vardhanti. Vardhanti, they grow. So chattaro dhamma vardhanti, four things grow, or increase, or flourish. Here we see the use of dhamma in its widest sense, just meaning things. And what are those four things that flourish or grow for the person who behaves in that way? It's ayu, vanno, sukham, balam. Ayu means life, particularly in the context of length and quality, length and health of life. I'll come back to it in a moment. In Sanskrit, Ayurveda, literally life science, is from that same word. Ayushman, having a long life. In Pali, the respectful greeting from one monk to another, not necessarily, or one monk to a senior monk, Ayasma, O long-lived one, you see. Ayushman in Sanskrit, Ayasma in Pali. Varno, from Sanskrit, Varna, which literally means color, but it also means beauty. Sukham, happiness, and balam, strength. The idea of you're good looking, of robust strength, happy, and with a long, healthy life. Those are the four things that happen to you, according to this verse, if you behave in that way. So, in the previous verse, we had the word abhivadana, which I explained there, praising. It's in the last pada. Abhivadana ujjugate suseyo, the speaker, the respectful talking, speaking respectfully, speaking in a praising, appreciative, respectful way. All that is involved in the abhivadana. Here and there it's used as a feminine with a long R, abhivadana. In this verse 8:10, it appears in its more normal neuter form in compound, abhivadana silassa. So one whose sila is one of abhivadana. Now, sila, let me call up iPad. Here we are. So I'm trying to get in the right place for you. Okay. Sanskrit Shila, Pali Sila, often on its own, it's translated as virtue. You get for example, the Panchasilani, the five virtues. Its root meaning is not specifically virtue. Its root meaning is, one's behavior, particularly one's characteristic behavior. Um, you can be, for example, papasila, characteristically inclined to doing evil deeds. You can be kamasila, characteristically inclined towards pleasures of the senses. Abhivadana sila means one who is, who characteristically praises, characteristically speaks good, speaks well of people. Now, what is the silissa? Now, if there had been a compound here, abhivadana sila, that could be a possessive compound, means one whose characteristic is speaking well of people. It could also be a tatpurusha compound, meaning the speaking well characteristic, the mode of behavior of speaking well of people. So different forms of compound. So if it were the bahuvrihi compound, the possessive compound, then abhivadana sila would be an adjective that describes a person and describes the characteristic behavior of that person. If it is a tapurusha, Pali tapurisa compound, it's just sila, behavior, what form of behavior, behavior involving speaking well of people. In that latter sense, you then, because you then change the ending to silin, one who has the characteristic of speaking well of people. Now, it's the consonantal declension here, and we see the last word in this pada, vuddhapachayino. That is the normal genitive form. We would kind of expected to see a abhivadana silino as well. That would have been equally correct. In fact, more usual, a bit more usual. This in ending has an alternative form of declension, whereas just as the assa, nominative to genitive in the a words, so also you can have the issa, not allowed in Sanskrit, but you can do it in Pali, I or in ending. So muni, the sage, munissa, of the sage. Abhivadana silin, having the characteristic of speaking well, and genitive abhivadana silissa or abhivadana silino. There's no distinction of meaning, and indeed we find the alternative form of the genitive in the last word of this sentence. So abhivadana silissa, for the person who has the characteristic of praising, of speaking well, that is, of those who deserve it, of course. Another genitive qualified by the adverbial nityam, permanently, always at it. Nityam buddha pachayano. This root chi, by the way, you most often encounter it in the meaning of to heap up or to pile up. Vichaya, unheaping, unpiling. Dhammavichaya, often translated as the investigation of the Dhamma, literally unpicking it, taking it to bits. An entirely separate root. I mean, it looks the same, it's a homonymous root, looks the same, sounds the same, but two separate roots. It just has the meaning of looking at. So apachi, apacheti, apachai, apachayino, or apachayan, one who looks respectfully, who speaks respectfully and who speaks well of people, and looks at them, regards them respectfully. So regards whom respectfully? Buddha. That is, one elders, one's elders. Now this Buddha is from the root vrid. It makes its present tense. It's a class 1 verb in Sanskrit. It means grow. It's both a transitive and an intransitive. And here we see a wonderful example of the difference between the parasmaipada and the atmanepada. Vardhati, parasmaipada, often has the meaning of making something increase, making it grow, and vardhate is the intransitive, growing. We do the same in English, of course, without distinguishing between parasmaipada and atmanepada. With the verb grow itself, you can, as a transitive verb, you can grow vegetables, you can grow your business, transitive, and equally intransitive, your vegetables are growing well in the garden, and one's business is growing. So exactly the same in Sanskrit, but with the difference between atmanepada and parasmaipada. As we know, that distinction has mostly disappeared in Pali. So the vardhati and vardhate both are found in Pali as vuddhati. Vuddhati. Sorry, vardhanti. That's what am I talking about? Vardhanti. So um, these four things, chattaro dhamma vardhanti, these four dhammas, these four things grow, increase, flourish. Ayu, life; varno, color; then by extension, beauty; sukham, happiness; balam, strength. The past participle in Sanskrit, vrid plus ta in Sanskrit, and by regular sandhi, when you get a root ending in a th followed by the past participle ending ta, it becomes a double EH. Like, for example, bud plus ta, awake, awakened, becomes buddha. That explains the double DHA. That's regular in Sanskrit. And Pali will follow Sanskrit in doing the same. So, in Sanskrit, old, grown, or often also used to mean grown up and have one's elders, is vriddha. But in Pali, the r there actually becomes an u in the past participle. Buddha. There is a reason for it. If you look at vardhate, it's a stressed a in Sanskrit, vardhati. Pali doesn't want to interfere with that stressed, obvious a. That's why vardhati, same vowel there. But look at the past participle. The past participle is the root which has this ri in it, which Pali doesn't have. So Pali has now, so to speak, got to cope with vriddha. And what does it do? It changes the ri to one of the three short consonants, a, e, or u. What we typically find happening is if the preceding consonant is a labial, like a b, b, v, one that's pronounced through the lips, typically this labial will have its influence on the following vowel, make it an u, because the u pronounced with the pursed lips is, so to speak, more associated with the labials. So that accounts for the Sanskrit vriddha becoming the Pali vuddha, and that accounts for vardhati, vardhati, but vriddha, vuddha. So I'll just go through it once more. Abhivadana silassa, for one who has the characteristic of speaking well, praising and understand those who deserve it. Nityam vuddhapachayano, constantly, permanently, vuddhapachayano, elder respecter for one who, for a person who is a respecter of elders. Chattaro dhamma vardhanti, four things flourish, increase, ayu vanno sukham balam. So I'll read it through just without stopping once more. There we are. Abhivadanasīlassa niccam vuddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vardhanti ayu vanno sukham balam. And that's it on this video.